My name is Rasha Mohamed, and I'm here to discuss the role that traditional Sudanese dresses have played in preserving and honoring my heritage and culture. My parents and older siblings moved to America on July 4th, 1993, on Independence Day, where they were met with a celebration of sparkling and colorful fireworks in the sky. The sentiments and excitement in the air that day were almost parallel to the excitement my family felt once they landed. I myself was born in the year 1995 at Hurley Hospital, and I currently study economics at the University of Michigan, Flint. Throughout my life, I've always identified as an American. However, I always felt the need to inform people that I, in fact, was a Sudanese American. I think the reason I felt that I needed to voice this was because of the fact that my parents were adamant on having us inherit their pride in their culture. They did this in many ways, such as taking us to every party or gathering that the local Flint Sudanese community put on. At those parties, we were introduced to the language, customs, and food, but what stood out to me the most was the dresses that many of the women in the Sudanese community had on. They were all so elaborate, colorful, and beautiful, and as a young girl, I'd always wanted to wear one of my own. My mother herself had a collection of rich and intricate Sudanese dresses, which we call tiab. In this first photograph, my mother is wearing her absolute favorite tobe, which is a red tobe with a gray, black, and white pattern. This particular tobe being her favorite makes a lot of sense because if I had to attribute a certain color to match my mother's personality, I would definitely have to choose the color red. Because of her passion towards her roots and towards planting that same passion within us to have just as much pride in our roots as she did. This second photograph is a photo of my mother overseas, visiting her home country, Sudan. In this photograph, she's wearing a deep purple tobe with brightly colored hand-sewn beading. I really like these colors on my mother. If you look closely at my mother's hands, you can see that she's displaying intricate designs of stained henna tattoos. Henna is widely used in Sudan and many other neighboring countries. Henna is typically used during times of celebration. Women mainly use it, however men also use henna during their weddings as well. In this third photograph, my mother is wearing a black and red rose and checkered pattern tobe. I remember this photograph was taken at the IIN Banquet Center in Flint, Michigan. It was taken right before one of the many Sudanese gatherings my family attended. The community would always rent out spaces to accommodate our large and festive gatherings. They still take place today and are some of the most memorable times I've had with my community. This turquoise one was worn during a time where the Sudanese women in the community had a party almost every weekend. The constant parties were always something to look forward to that summer. This last tobe has to be my absolute favorite. Well, one of my absolute favorites. Because if you've seen my mother's collection of tiab, you'd know that just picking one favorite would be a hard thing to do. The colors remind me of spring and they look so beautiful on my mother. This photograph was taken at the Masjid Banquet Center that my family and I regularly attend. This last photograph is a photo of my older sister Ruba, modeling a tobe at a cultural fashion show, probably around the year 2002. This fashion show was a great experience for my sisters and I because it was one of the many times my Arab and Muslim community got together to celebrate our culture and heritage by showcasing the diversity and beauty of clothing throughout the region. Tiab I see so many of the women wearing symbolizes so much for me as a Sudanese woman. They are rich in color and detailed in design, but the women wearing these tiab represent so much more to me. Women like my aunts, sisters, and mother are women I look up to and hope to embody in my everyday actions and aspirations.